Boy, do I got a good one for you guys. I'm broke down on the side of the road. This is the first day I took a blue van here to work. It was running great earlier, and then all of a sudden it just started stalling on the highway. It wouldn't run, would spit and sputter. See this right here? See how it just died? The plug for the cam sensor has decided to not be connected or attached to anything, and it was rubbing on the belt, and it rubbed all the way through. And I think I can get it to hold here if I put it back down here. And if I get it to where it goes, I'm gonna try limp it home, but big problem. That's a big problem right there. So yeah, that's not good. Yeah, we're dead in the water here. 275, 294. I just got a hold of my dad here. He's luckily my truck and trailer are already hooked up, so he's just gonna go home, grab a battery for the winch, and he's gonna drive 35 minutes out here to come get me. So that's great. I thought I had it running there. You saw me pull that up for the last time. That was the last time that was ever gonna work because it completely snapped that last wire there. I could cut this off here if I had tools, and I could probably kind of tie it together just to get home, but he's just gonna come get me in the truck trailer, and then all we gotta do is buy a harness here. We don't have to, you know, hack up the wire harness here, or just buy the pigtail and the cam sensor, because then I don't have to break this all down, you know what I mean? Don't have to cut up the wire harness. A little bit of cut through here, but that should be okay. We'll probably put E-tape when we hook the new one up anyway. But yeah, that's a problem. So that's it here. So we're stranded here on the side of the road. Nice. Help has arrived. All right, we're all hooked up here. Got it hooked up. We're gonna get it up on the trailer right now. So do I. Second time this man. I know. I know. All right, well, we're all loaded up, strapped in there. 2 straps up front, 1 strap in the back, plus the winch. All good to go. All right, so we're back home. I went digging for parts. You guys will have to remind me. Did I buy the new one and then it didn't work? Or why do I have a spare new one? Someone remind me why I have a spare brand new one. It's labeled cam. So let's pop the hood here. You know what it was, I think? Remember, I had the new one. It didn't work initially, so I bought another one just in case. And then I ended up figuring out why it didn't work. And that it was that little paper piece on the end that's supposed to be a spacer that didn't do its job and fall off. I think I remember that. But I want to make sure that it's the correct one and it plugs in. And look at that. Brand new sensor. We'll put some tape on that and everything anyway, but problem solved. Now I just got to get in here with a 10mm and unscrew the other one. A little bit of a pain to get in there, but you can. So I will get to that. Okay, so on the 3rd gen vans for sure, and I don't know about 2nd gen, this bracket here for the motor mount and everything, it's got a hole where you can access that little 10mm bolt for the cam sensor. 1st gen doesn't, and this is a real pain. So what I've got here is I've got a 10mm end here that's got a bend to it, and it's cut off right now, and it's attached to a 3/8 breaker bar. So I got it wedged on the inside and then taped over, and I was able to just crack that loose to where I'm going to take this off because this thing's cut off. I'll show you here if I can get the tape off. Trying here. I'm trying my best. But now I've got a 1/2 wrench that I can fit in there. like this, see? And I'll be able to get in there with my hand and loosen it up enough that we will be able to get the cam sensor out. Anyway, this has turned into an ordeal, so I'm gonna work on that a little bit, and I will bring you back when I got it out, hopefully. All right, look at that. Got the old one out, a little bit of work. I left the little bolt in there because that will cause us pain later. I'm gonna spray some fluid film on it. He's pretty corroded. But we're gonna get the new one in there. Hopefully it works, and then we'll go from there. So I got in there with my hands, lined it up. Here, if you can kind of focus. It's in there, see it? I got it lined up. Then I took this guy right here, and I just tapped it in with a hammer. After I lubricated it so it would go in. Now we're gonna just snug that. I'm not gonna get it as tight as it was, that's for sure. But I sprayed fluid film on those threads so they hopefully don't seize back up like they did, because I got it to crack loose, and then I had this in here, and I used this, and I had to smack this wrench that way to get it to go. But you can't get in there with anything bigger than this, really. Not that this broke itself, but it was in the toolbox, so it came in handy. It was perfect. So might just throw this in the glove box in here so I have it. But, you know, hopefully I don't have to do this again. Get this tightened, get it hooked up. I'll bring you back for first start. All right, I got it plugged in. Do I have the keys? Where did I put the keys? The keys are not in it. Where did I put the keys? This is a fail. All right, got the keys. And first start. Will it run? And it's running. Heard a little backfire from the gas in the exhaust, I bet, from trying to start it, but it's running. Now, gonna zip tie that up so it doesn't do that again. But hey, we're back, we're alive. That noise was the hammer falling off the alternator and hitting the firewall. That's what I heard. Whoops. Okay, so I pulled the sensor up here. I wrapped some E-tape around the wires for the sensor, and then the plug to the coil pack. And then I put a zip tie over top of that so the tape's there so it doesn't chafe the cables, and that will hold it from out of there. And that's it. We're good to go. Shut the hood. I'm gonna pull the ramps out, unstrap the thing. We're gonna back it right off the trailer. So, all right. She may have had to do the walk of shame up the trailer, but she sure as heck gonna drive back off under her own power. Oh, I should set this drink somewhere so I don't spill it. Here you go. Enjoy that eggplant. So I gotta hold the camera here for you guys and man the vehicle at the same time. I don't have room for a pop, and I don't trust that cup holder. Window down, 275, 294. Turn the lights on. Reverse gear. I still gotta put half a quart of trans fluid. It's half a quart low on oil and trans fluid. Yeah. And I'm watching the driver's side, so hopefully the passenger side's in the right spot. Otherwise, you'll know when it's wrong. Okay. Oh, I hit something. So, small predicament. Apparently the way we've got the trailer sat right now, the exhaust is not clear. So, I've got some blocks here we're gonna back up to and kind of change our angle a little bit. We'll see if this helps. Should help. Let's try this. Yeah, sitting in a funny spot in the driveway, I guess. Ow. Okay. Up we go. Okay. Okay, I think we've cleared it. Okay. Carefully back down. And that, folks, is how you do that. Carefully. My mom has some doubts. Just have to make sure she knows I got off the trailer. That's how you do that. So I always carry those in the truck. In fact, that's where I'm putting them. I do believe I took them out at some point to be bridges in mud. So, yeah, I got some in there. You see them? Let's have a little more. These are actually, you know what's funny what these are? These are the good boards that used to be on this trailer. What's left of the only good ones. We cut them up and been using them for stuff like that. Because most of them were rotten, but there was a couple. And the blue van is live and well again. As you can see, it runs, it's got power, we're good. Okay, we got a little bit going on here. Got the full-size spare down. This is a BF Goodrich from 2004. It's got a white wall on it, we're fancy. It's an original rim right there. It's a red one, so I think it's off of a red one, but it's an original Caravan wheel. Here's the spare I bought, 195/70/14. And then up front here, I just cleaned out the back of the van. Had the hood insulation that would never hold itself up because these little plastic clips, if I can show you one, don't really work very well. Anyway, I drilled a little hole here, got a zip tie holding one here, got a zip tie wrapped holding here, and I got a zip tie down here to hold one. And I think I'm gonna go in here and I want to make a loop around this old hook or drill a hole in it, and I'm gonna zip tie 2 more here, and then that'll hold that up to keep it from falling because it actually fell on me. Yep, and then I got a zip tie around there. This clip's kind of doing its job still for now. Zip tie up here. Like I said, zip tie with a hole in the original clip, and that ain't going anywhere now. Alright, that actually cleaned up really nice with a Scotch pad and some super clean. That was surprising. Now let's put 36 pounds in this bomb. I believe date code is January of 2004, so you know it's good. It's got 20 in it right now, so. Alright, Mr. BF Goodrich, please hold. Alright, when you hear the cords rip, run. That ought to work. Pretty good with white walls on. I've done some dumb things, and this is definitely one of them. Let's see if this 20-year-old tire holds up. It should. This is the spare tire that's been under the vehicle probably for the last 20, but it's 2004, so it's not 1990, but it's probably still round because it wasn't, you know, on the ground with weight. But it's just proof of concept. Let's see, because this is the tire we suspect was out around the right rear naturally. So if this gets rid of that bounce at 60, we're going to take this rim, put that tire on it that's nicer and newer, and get that rim balanced with that tire on it. So we'll try that first before I go through the effort of changing it. So we'll take it for a quick ride. Unfortunately, it really didn't make a difference that I could tell, so that kind of sucks. Alright, so we're working on Blue Van today. We're just trying to address some of the easy stuff for the little shake I had, and I went in and I knew I had the rear bearings adjusted wrong, so I readjusted these. Both. I got them set 30 foot-pounds, and then I backed them off 1/8 of a turn, and that seems to get it to where there's no play in the wheel when I shake it, but also it spins free. And the way I did it is I've got the spare here, and the spare I can access and adjust this. That truck sounds terrible. I can adjust the bearing with the wheel on. That way I can spin it here. And, you know, as you set the preload, you want to spin it. And so I can get the most force on it. And also, I can also check this without, you know, wasting my time taking the wheel off, putting it back on. But that's on, so that's done. And then we have to now, you know, properly adjust and align the front end. So you know how I aligned it in the air, right? She's sitting pretty right there. You know, ain't quite right. So we're gonna try adjust those, get them close, you know, the right way with it on the ground at ride height. And then we'll do some measurements on the front wheels, and we'll check steering. We'll see. I think steering I got pretty close. It's just the, you know, your toe in and out is messed up. I think that's what it is. But we're gonna get the other tire back on, turn it around. I'll adjust this with that strut adjustment bolt, and then we'll take it for a test drive and see how much better it is. All right, how about that for the adjustment on the struts? That it's a lot better. They were way in on both of them. This one I got perfect the first time pretty well, but it's maxed out on the adjuster, I think. This one I got too far, it was going this way, and I think I got it back to what it should be. It's close anyway. Maybe just a hair more in, I can't tell. I think I'm gonna leave it with that. That's way better. All right, so we've been messing around with these rear wheel bearings for a while here, and we pretty much got them torqued to essentially 30, 32, 33, whatever foot-pounds, and then didn't back them off. And that's finally what got us to the point where I wobble this, and I feel no play in that bearing. And we wobble this, and I feel no play in that bearing. So, and the tires spin okay. It spins like a new hub assembly, I would say, so I don't think it's too tight. Dad doesn't think it's too tight, so we're gonna go for a test drive. Like, I already tightened them the first time and then backed them off in 8th turn, and it was definitely better, but it was still kind of shaky at 60, so we're gonna try that. Well, Dad's behind me now. He's gonna follow me and just look at these back tires and see if which one's bouncing. We're pretty sure there's one of them's out around just a little bit too. So we fixed most of it. It's not shaking as bad. And remember, I don't remember if I was recording or you hear a really bad squeak on the gravel road here in the back. There's 2 little rubber foam pads on the side of the hatch that go up against the D pillars. They were squeaking against it, so I put some white lithium grease on them, and those are quiet as can be now. So that's cool. All right, so we're at 275, 403, 981 on the trip. So we're just about to roll 2,000 miles since I've owned the vehicle. So that's cool. All right, we just got back. We tested it with and without the rear hubcaps. It made no difference. In fact, it made it worse without them. But just felt the hubs here. They're nice and cold, so we don't got the bearings too tight. It is significantly better than it was this morning and the day before, considering that the front suspension was a significant increase from what it was before that. We're doing pretty good. So we're gonna call it good for that. We think any little shake left is either it needs the alignment, and that might fix it, and or the tires are out of round. But I don't have any tires to put on it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. It's tolerable, like really tolerable now. Just a slight, very, very slight kind of bounce from the rear at 60 on the speedo. So we're gonna call it good at that. All right, just checking in here. Got eggplant up here. I just cleaned out the back eggplant. We are taking that to U-Pull's 40% off sale tomorrow. Get a few videos for you guys to look around, see if there's anything I could use. But we've been troubleshooting what's left of the shake. It's a rear end shake in Blue Van here. And right now, we've got the full-size spare that was under here that's 20 years old, that old BF Goodrich, that seems round and not have any flat spots. It's on the left rear right now. We had it on the right rear, and it didn't really make a difference. Nothing noticeable anyway. And so we put the right rear tire back on, put it on left rear tire sitting right there. And it's definitely better. That made the most difference so far, is getting rid of that tire. So something's wrong with this tire. The rim doesn't appear bent when we were spinning it, but the tire seems kind of out of round. And this tire is one that was on the front when I bought the van. So it's, I don't know, it's a little older, 2019. So I don't know. Maybe it's hard, or I don't know. But that tire's 20 years old and it's fine. So I don't know. Manufactured poorly. I couldn't tell you. Anyway, I went, because I was originally, this is the full-size spare that I bought to replace that tire, this tire, so I had this tire in the back. I was going to put it on that rim, but I'm like, well, that one holds air. That's a good roller still, you know what I mean? So I went and I picked up one of the other, if you remember, that blue van came with like 7 or 8 spare wheels and tires in the back. This was one of them. I went and I picked this up today out of storage, and I dismounted the blown tire. That was actually, it actually is the matching pair to that one. It's blown into pieces, so that tells you, you know, how good that one's good for. But I took it off, dismounted it, and then mounted this to it, and I'm just checking for leaks, and there's none on the front here. So turn it over and check for leaks in the back. At least bead leaks anyway. You know what else I noticed when I was cleaning this tire up here, and this date appeared of 4/22 of 03. So that's kind of cool, isn't it? I don't know what that signifies, but it's there. Somebody wrote in white paint pen on this wheel. So doesn't look like there's any leaks there. That bead's nice. It's set pretty well. Left the old wheel weights on it for good luck. There's one here, and what is this, a 1.25 ounce, and then there's a 0.75 ounce in the same spot on the front. So we're gonna put this on the right rear now, even though it's unbalanced, see if that helps. I'm suspecting both of these rear tires to be messed up. That's my suspect. It's a rear end shake. The bearings are all tight. It ain't that anymore. So we'll put this on there, see what this does. That makes no difference. I'll take this off and I'll bring this into like Discount Tire and I'll have them balance it quick for me. At the very least, it's a full-size spare that's balanced, you know. And in best case, it fixes our shake. It's a 195/70/14, which matches what I've got on it. Y'all have to remind me, when did I move the old right rear to the right front? So I did swap it, the right rear, and I put that's the one we just changed, put it on there. Didn't really make a difference. But when I was taking that tire off, I realized that one said 2022. So that's the one I bought, because it came with 2 nice tires in the front. And so I bought 2 matching ones right there, and I put them on the front, put the old ones on the rear. But at some point when we were troubleshooting this last year, I must have flipped the right sides troubleshooting it. So this is the 2018 one that matches the rear left. So we're gonna take that one off, put that one right there, see if that helps. Because it feels, it feels like a right side shake. Kinda, I don't know. Any shake in this body seems to just rattle throughout the whole thing. You'd have to be here with me. It's hard to diagnose this darn shakes and stuff, and I can't say I'm particularly. You know what would help? If I had a tire machine and I could spin these tires myself, I could probably pick out a lot more messed up wheels, but I really don't. So, you know, I've been looking, but I haven't found one yet. Anyway, we're gonna do what I just said and swap this tire for that one. Cross our fingers. And then I think when I figure this out, I'm gonna buy a whole new set of wheels. These are the wrong size anyway. I didn't screw up. I just took the size they had and I took them at their word that they had the right size tires on it, and I should have known better. It's supposed to have 195/75/14s, and it's got 195/70/14s on it right now. So what I'll do is I'll buy a whole new set. I think I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm gonna buy a whole new set of 195/75s that are decent, not the cheapest Walmart Goodyear tire there is. And I'm not gonna put them on the blue rims. I'm gonna put them on these the red ones. So I've got 5 of these red rims right here that must have been on this van at some point, because the center caps for the rear bearings are painted that same color. So I'm gonna leave this one on here, as this will be the full-size spare for the set, because this one is all the 195/70, so it's the wrong size, but it's a matching one, and I'll take this one plus the other 3 and I'll mount that new set to those. Then I get rid of the rest of those. And I'm not going to drive long term on this tire. I'm only using it for testing purposes. I really am sketched out by this tire. I mean, it's round, it's cracked, it's holding its own, but I would not take this on the highway. No, I don't. This tire sketches me out, but I'm within a few miles of home, so if I blow a tire, I should have the one in the back, but I'm too lazy to bring the jack and everything. But I can phone home and have them bring me a tire out. But it's holding its own, so I'm not gonna say anything. It's getting its use. But that way, it's getting its final use. But like I said, this one was up under the vehicle, so it really stayed out of the elements, which is what saved it. It's why it's better than its counterpart that blew apart. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna buy a new set of wheels for this, and then I'm not gonna throw these out, even if they're shaky, even if the two that aren't, the two that are good. But even the other ones, I'm gonna leave them mounted. These tires, they're balanced. I got a project coming up the pipeline, hopefully, that they will at least be good rollers. So, all right, you're hearing from me, so that's good news. Yeah, this is the best this van has ever. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've exaggerated a little bit of how good it is sometimes. This is the best it's been by far. Those two tires were a major culprit of a shake. Now, I'm not gonna lie, is it completely gone? No, but the rear end shake is gone. What little shake is left is in the front tires. And this is nothing. This is nothing. So, we are gonna order those 4 new tires for it, and I'm gonna order something decent. You'll see when they get here, and we'll change out all 4 tires, and we'll put them on those maroon Steelies that are off of like a 90 or whatever. First gen Caravan. They're first gen Caravan Steelies, 14-inch wheels. But we'll mount them up on those, and then we'll take those in and we'll get them balanced. I'll bring them into Discount Tire one day or something. Probably bring them in my lunch break at work or something. You know what I mean? Whatever, something like that. And then we'll put those on, and then we'll see. We'll really see how good this van is. I want to do a U-turn here on my test track. Do one more pass. Really get up to speed here, but that 60 mile an hour shake is essentially, it's gone. Feel a little bit in the wheel right there, little bit right there. That's about the worst of it. It's gone-ish. I feel a little bit in the floor. Keep in mind that Speedo's 5 miles fast. Now I kind of feel it in the wheel, but not really. There, it's gone again. A little bit in the floor, not bad. Starting to come back in the wheel. This is nothing. It's going down the road pretty straight too. And you know it needs an alignment too. So, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. But yeah, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna order a set of tires, and then we'll resume. That was pretty ballsy taking that left rear up to that speed, but you know, whatever, it's fine. It's fine. It's still in one piece. We're good. All right, so that's good news. All right, I just finished putting the bad old wheels back on Blue Van here, because I've got the full set of these rims here. When I picked them up today, here's the one we just mounted, that'll be the spare. And then here's the, actually this is the old spare that we've been running. These still got air in them. But we got to dismount these, take out the old valve stems, we'll get these replaced. And then we're going to sand down the rims, get all the rust out of it, repaint them. And by then, we should have the new tires in to mount on. But before we do that, I think I'm going to knock out this fuel filter. He's up here somewhere. Where is he at? He's right there. We're going to get that guy replaced real quick, and the lines and the clamps and everything with it. Well, this is what we pulled out. So, oh, and then we're dumping fuel. This is the state of the fuel line. Unfortunately, that pulled right out of the body, so you know the rails are good. They're real good. No, they're not. Anyway, it's out. So I'll have to get the new one here, and I'm gonna get some lines and make them to the same length here. And then we're gonna use some proper fuel line clamps, not regular hose clamps like this. They all came out surprisingly. That surprised me. Those came out. These are stainless, so that helped. At least this part's stainless. On the 93 when I did this, the hose clamps were not there because they rotted away. So anyway, we got it out in one piece as I'm flinging fuel everywhere once again. So that's always good. I'm gonna look underneath here. I think I'm gonna try to start doing some rust prevent work or repair. I'll show you a good look. I hate looking at this. The more I look at it, the worse it gets. But so here's where our guy is, and here's that hole. I don't know if we'll put a bigger screw in or something to try to get that to hold, but before you put it back, you might as well try to repair that spot, you know what I mean, or grind it down to whatever. I mean, the metal's still solid on the bottom. It's thinner until you get up to there. There's the hole on this side, and if you look, you can see it right there, I think. I'm not looking at the camera, so I can't tell, but that's on both sides we gotta do and fix that. But all the way down, sure, let me zoom you out like that. Back sides of the rockers, as you can see, it's rusty. Oh, holes. And then the outer rocker in the back here has already been done once, but they just kind of tack welded or glued or whatever over it. But start poking at this here, and this hole wasn't there, but it's under all of this, you know. So you got to come in here and start getting rid of this, and then you got to figure out how to plate that or something. This isn't all that structural. I mean, in reality, this rail right here is your guy. So we want to get all this flakiness off of it. That way you can prime it with some sort of rust preventative and put some paint over it or something. And then you coat it in fluid film on both sides. But before you do any of that, I'm going to get a hose and probably rinse this rail out, because it's so full of crap and rust chunks and whatever. I don't know, there's a lot. And you can only do so much. I mean, it is what it is, right? But the center floors aren't terrible, you know. That's all okay, I guess. But you get in here and you fill that and you pull that plug and you fill it with fluid film, and then you gotta doing this rail here, you're looking at your fuel lines and your vent tube and everything. Why don't you rerun those lines, because they're stuck up over the frame here, and you know, I don't know. I'm gonna stare at it and kind of game plan. If I do anything, I gotta jack this side of the vehicle up, because I can barely get under here with a roller just to get that fuel filter out. But you know, hey, it's out, so we fix that part. You know, even if we fix that now and we come back later and do this work, at the very least, you know, you can always reuse the fuel filter. That's no big deal. Be easier to come off with new lines. As you can see, they sprayed these lines with like a rust preventative, so it saved them for the most part. But there's a few spots where the coating is flaked off and it's since rusted over. Well, glue end's all over the ground now. I've been in there with a hammer. I undid all the clamps for the fuel lines. Those came out just fine. This up here isn't really rusty, you know what I mean? But kind of opened it up a little bit. It didn't open up as far as luckily it's not any much further than that. But knocked off all the scaly bits and stuff. So this is kind of weak right here too, around this hole, but it didn't blow through. So I don't know what I gotta do. I gotta like cut out this outer panel here, come up with a patch onto that. I bent this back a little bit so we can tack that back on. I need like a 90-degree plate so I can like weld it up here and around, and then wrap it over, and then I don't know, take a flat piece and weld it to it. I might just cut this support out, get it out of the way, so you can come in here with a flat plate and then you put it back and weld it in. I don't know. I gotta do some thinking. Gotta find some metal first, but I'm gonna take the hose. I'm gonna wash out this rail real quick. It's gonna be a mess, but I'm gonna rinse out this rail hopefully. Maybe get up in here too and start beating on this rocker, but I really don't want to. I did a little bit. As you can see, the thing is rusted. There's a line all the way down the thing. But the rail itself is solid till at least here, where that's a problem too. I haven't hit this yet, but that's gonna blow out as soon as I hit it. And to patch that, you know, to start patching this stuff, I'm just gonna just get the tank down out of here. I don't want to deal with the fuel, especially with the lines and stuff, and then I can replace the lines. See, these are dry rotted too. These all need replaced. They're rock hard. That's like 3/8 brake line right there. That was at 5/16, and then I don't know what is that, 3/8 line, probably. Have to go get some line. At least it's solid where the shock bolts in. That's good. Floor isn't up there, but the rail is. But this is bad right here. The rail where the tank is bolted in has definitely seen better days too. That's scary. I mean, it's not that bad. It's better than the rail. I don't like how that clamps. That clamp is sitting funny for the fuel strap. I don't know. Need to look up here less. And then obviously this leaf is bowed completely the wrong way, naturally. But I had to lift it there. I started lifting it here, and you could hear the rocker start to kind of buckle. So, I mean, this stayed solid, but you could hear movement up here. And then I had the jack here, and I dropped it down too fast, and because I wanted to kind of hold the vehicle up here, because I didn't want the leaf spring to be backwards like it is right now. Set the jack down too fast, and it put a dent in that, because you don't want to lift here, really. You want to lift on the support, like the subframe and stuff, and the axle's a decent spot because at least it spreads the load on the leaf and the shock. But it's not very good, guys. But I knew it was pretty bad here. We'll make it work. It might be a bit, but I'm gonna start fiddling around with this, come up with a game plan here. I'll let you know if I think of something. Alright, well, I washed out the rail, and both sides actually, best I can right now. But I think here's what my plan's going to be. It's in a really bad spot right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that fuel filter on, the lines and stuff, the new one. I'll get that mocked up and get it running here. And I'm going to get it on the ground. I'm going to drive it back out. I'm going to move my dad's truck here. This is the put it up on blocks spot. I'm going to drive it up onto ramps in the front. And then I'm going to jack the rear up. I think I'm going to try to jack it up by this bumper, because I don't want to have to, I can't jack it up by the axle for what I'm going to do. But I'm going to try to jack it up by the bumper here, because it's welded onto the whole thing pretty well, I think. So that should hold. That will give us access to this entire rail. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the leaves, because we're going to replace those. I'm going to drop the fuel tank, drop the exhaust, get all the gas lines out. I think I'm going to probably remove the brake lines up by the front junction, and I'll plug them. We'll get all of this stuff out from the underside. Give us complete and full access. Even the parking brake and stuff, we'll pull that cable down. And we'll go to town and we'll start cleaning it up and patch what is needed, but I'll get it up in the air where I can work under it reliably. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this underside completely fixed. At least get it way better than it is. Patch up the big holes and stuff. And that did start to blow through. I started tapping on it a little bit there, and it was harder, but I can't really get a good hit on it with all the stuff in the way. But that'll be the only way to really fix it. So that's what we're gonna have to do. All right, fuel filter's in. We might as well start it here. Prime it up. There it goes. And new fuel filter's in. Don't see any drips or anything. Cool. Alright, well, we got it up in the air, so I drove it up on ramps. And then I jacked up on the axle, got it about as high is I was willing to get it, and I got it on these 2 bigger jack stands. And it seems to hold. I got 2 tires on each side under it, just in case it decides it no longer is gonna hold. So, I mean, it'll crush the body, but probably not me. Anyway, here's a game plan. I've been setting your game plan for a while. We're gonna unbolt the shock absorbers, and then we're gonna undo the brake lines up here, and we'll cap them off for now so we don't lose all the fluid. And then we will unbolt the leaf springs, and then we'll lower it down to the ground. Actually, before we lower it to the ground, we gotta unbolt the brackets for the parking brake cable. There's a couple of them, and we'll let the parking brake cable go down with it. We'll keep it hooked up because I don't feel like pulling the drums apart. And we're gonna unbolt it all, and we'll twist the cable, and we'll pull the axle out this way, and we'll keep it hooked up to the parking cable and set the axle next to it, is what I think we'll do. Then we can leave that hooked up. But I do believe that the parking brake cable's on over top of the exhaust, so we'll have to drop the exhaust too. So we'll kind of do it in a chain and kind of do it at the same time. And we'll unbolt it at the muffler for now, because we've got that kind of janky, temporary, clampy setup going on. Or do I leave that and undo it at the cat and just take the whole muffler? Then less I'm messing with for now. And we'll just pull the whole thing off right there. So the exhaust is going to come down. And once the exhaust is out, the axles are out, then we'll pull the fuel tank. So, and I noticed up here, if you look somewhere up here, there's a patch already in it right there. Somebody put a soft line patch in it right there at some point. But this fuel line is pretty rotten, so we'll replace it. So that's my plan. I'm going to put you on a stand out of the way, and I'm just going to kind of go to work. So as long as these bolts come out right here, which they look okay, we will be all right. Those break off, we're in for a world of hurt. Like parts vehicle territory. Anyway, we're just kind of the point of the save the life of this vehicle. We got to kind of fix this now. And while we're in there, once we get it all apart and clean it up, we'll see what we're looking like here as far as doing the stuff visually. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. As long as the underside's okay, we can always come back and do this later. That was some effort there. We sawzalled the exhaust bolts off, so that's gonna hurt us later. Anyway, why not give it a shot? Here, I want to hear it. Okay, why doesn't it run? She runs now. That's enough of that. Oh, it smells good. So there's our catalytic converter, right? I do believe that the catalytic converter is shot. Nice. lift kit installed. No, I'm just kidding. Got it all unbolted. It's free. I gotta jack it back up and get the tires off though, so I can slide it out from underneath. But it do be out. This hardware coming out of here looks brand new, so that really increases my confidence level in the structural integrity of it, overall. So yeah, I'll pop these tires out quick. We'll slide this axle out from underneath and probably put the tires back on it so I can roll this thing around a little easier, at least until the new leaves come in. Alright, so they made this corner when they redid these rockers and everything. They used cardboard on the very inside, and then they made it out of spray foam. And then it was covered up by the plastic. I had to get it out of here because I got to be able to get the fuel filler neck out, which is probably rotten here, unfortunately. But now we can see in there. What do you guys see? What I see is that it is completely filled with like cavity wax or like an oil. It's gonna start the fuel tank process here, which you get the filler out. Gotta get these two out, and then that one. We'll get this bracket out of your way, and then a couple screws up there, and then that'll drop the whole filler out. Yeah, look it up here. Yeah, that doesn't have to be pretty when we redo it, but it's gotta be something. Neither does this really, but I have this whole panel here, so I can make a good chunk of that. Go as far as there's no metal, which is pretty much all of it. Here's the outer panel. You can see where the outer panel is rotted all the way up to right there. That's the original panel. It's just gone. Then they made a panel out of Bondo. So we'll put some real metal back in that. I mean, it's gonna look like once I get I'm not gonna touch these panels until I have the underside done and fixed how I like it. But before we put it back together, we might as well at least put this panel in, or, it's apart. Look at that. Otherwise, the axle's all out. Like I said, the parking brake thing worked just how I wanted it to. All that hardware came out, which is nice. All the hardware seems to be coming out just fine. Knock on wood here. But, yeah, I want to go to town and get this fuel filler neck out. Hopefully this hardware comes out. Well, filler's out and everything, and the fuel strap bolts came right out. I don't know why. Somebody's been there before. These bolts, quote unquote, are studs with nuts welded to them. So, might have to reuse those. Anyway, I just got to get the brackets holding the lines up here loose, and then I got to disconnect all that stuff, and then tank should be ready to just drop out. Definitely going to replace those straps. We'll see about this filler. He's pretty crusty. We'll see if they have them. I think this is a replacement already, but I've seen worse. there's the tank out. I don't think this is a leak. I think they covered this thing in oil too, which is good, I guess. Hopefully keep it from rusting through. Somebody was, eating in here, as you can see. That's good for it right there. Yeah, it's out. Have a look underneath here. Definitely a lot more space up here. Yeah, this rail's kind of rough looking. But up here, up under the tank, looks perfect, as you can see. There's the old brake lines, holders and stuff. It wouldn't hurt to maybe rebend these lines when we put them back in, you know what I mean? Maybe do it a little nicer, since we got it apart this far. As far as stuff that still needs to come out, that whole bracketry can get unbolted. That can all come out too. The strap's still got to come down. That old bracket up there for the proportioning valve, that can go away. We can get rid of that. Wire harnesses all plug in right there. We can pull all these harnesses out of our way so they don't get damaged. Straps come out. All the fuel lines and the returns and everything, that can all come out. There's that patch right there. Where is he? Right there. So that's already rotted through and they just put a little patch in it. That's all going to get replaced now. The exhaust shield can come out. And that's about it. And then we get to really start to go to town here and start grinding all this up. Cleaning it all up. Oh. And then patching it. Or where it needs to be. 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm thinking. I think this is bolt on. I don't think this is welded on. So this might come out if we undo these nuts right here, which I don't know if that'll come out, but we'll see. Well, there's the brake lines. Working on some of this bracketry up here now. Got most of it out, but here's an update. I'm working on the tire release and stuff. Pretty well can access everything now. Like I said, just a few more small brackets and stuff like that right there. And that'll be it. And there's the fuel lines. Pretty rusty right here. See where they patched it? This is getting pretty crusty right there too. Vent line looks okay, to be honest with you. There's our new fuel filter. Pretty crusty right here too, but then see they got this oil coating on it. So it's nice there. Nice all the way up here, all the way up to here. A little rusty right there. But that could be surface rust. We'll sand it down. We'll see what these lines look like. Might just be able to keep them here and then splice them all right here or something, you know what I mean? Because these bends are pretty hard to recreate, or I don't want to recreate them, and they've got the flares on them all still as I have the vent line stuck in the mud. Status update down here, I suppose. Got all the brackets out except the release because they welded it to their little bumper bracket. So I'll have to grind those welds off to knock that down quick. Oh, this is full of foam too. Did we do it? It's just Bondo or fiberglass or something. Does look like fiberglass short strand, so they use the right, stuff for it, the strong stuff here. But uh-oh, we're asking for it now. Kind of don't want to knock the quarter out of it. Kind of want to use that shape or save that shape if I can. But if we can scoop the backside out of it. Yep, there it goes. Short strand fiberglass and expandable foam. I'm going to put fiberglass back in it, but I don't think I'm putting foam. Look at that. Oh, there's metal right there. Well, the bottom rotted out of it. So this is all still solid up here. That's good. That's a good sign, actually. Here's their rocker they welded on. Oh, there it goes. There's the original rocker. Yeah, see, they just made a patch right here. I can probably pop this patch right off. Break their weld. Come on. Okay, their welds are pretty oh, they're rivets. No wonder their welds are so strong, because they're rivets. Okay. Yeah, they've got 2 rivets in there holding that on. Come on. Well, something's gonna let loose here. Oh, there we go. So we pop a hole in the bottom there. Got 1 rivet left. Come on, get out of there. This makes me sad. This rivet is really holding on here. Oh god. It's falling apart. Yeah, that is full of foam though. Look at that. Some sort of patch there. Yeah, I want to be careful with this quarter. I kind of want to save it as a kind of a template. I don't think I got that piece. I don't think they make it, if I remember right. Oh, it's all foam. But to be fair, this is what keeps the dust out, because this is where the dust gets in. It's right here. There's the inner piece. Yeah, this guy is not letting go. They riveted into a solid piece, let me tell you. Can you please? I want to fold that in. There it goes. Got it. That patch is gone. Jesus Christ. Oh, I found a hole. So that means there's no, there's the end of the foam right there. Well, it's gonna rain, so I'm looking to disconnect this, and I don't want to pull the interior apart. So I pulled this little junction box here apart. And the way this looks like it works is I'll be able to unthread this nut and pop both of the lines off, and then pop them out of the fittings here. And then that will disconnect this assembly and let me put the wheels back on this, and then roll this away into the shed where it's safe, so it doesn't get rained on. Alright, got this all disconnected. So these are kind of a pain. So what you do is you spray them with some penetrant, get them spinning, which I use the vice grip to spin them in the circle here. Then you want to get under here while it's still in here. And you got to pick all of the rust out from under these clips so you can push them in to pop them out. Or you could break them off and then not reuse them. That's your choice. But I'm going to try reuse them because they do work. So there, that's all disconnected, so we can kind of slide this back up under the vehicle. I'll put the cover back on. See how much easier this is to deal with? I just roll the thing away. That is why I did this. Yeah, I just roll it away. Bye. Alright, got everything put away under cover here. It's supposed to rain tomorrow night. But tomorrow we'll see what we can get done as far as grinding and stuff and removing rust. But got the wheels back on this. That made it really easy to roll. That, even though the fuel gauge says empty, is very much not empty. I don't know how much. I mean, there's not that much in there, but I mean, I would say it's pretty empty. Inside this tank, though, here, take a look. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially empty, but you know, it's not. It's funny, so the sender is a separate unit than the pump and everything in this tank. That's kind of cool. But yeah, the inside of this tank is literally perfect. So we'll make sure to do our due diligence and sand this tank down nice. We'll make it real nice. Or do we paint it like a chrome or something fancy underneath? I'm still deciding. I think I'm gonna go with like a light gray, almost like the factory color. As far as the underbody goes, maybe we paint this like a silver. Ah, acorns, great. Yep, that's good. That's always nice. Oh, there's more. Oh, they just keep coming. This is after I've washed. Oh my god, there's so many of them. It's full of them. Can you see up there? No, there's a lot in there. That's after all the ones washed out. Great. I got this harness out, so this goes up into the rocker panel here. And just see how this unclips, I believe. Like that. And come on. It's coming. It's kind of taped. Oh, it's taped on still. Factory tape. Keep it from coming off. Let's cut that. Oh no, the original fuel plug tape on obtainium. Look at that. I don't know what I was saying. It's numbers matching tape. It's a Mopar thing. You guys wouldn't understand. What the heck is this made of? There it goes. I'm winning. There we go. It's free. It's off. Our numbers matching tape is gone. Alright, so I've gone in, cleaned up everything. I actually went in and had shower, dinner. Was going through my list of shopping. I ordered the leaf springs. That hurt. I ordered them from General Spring. I have the 4-leaf model, so not that the price matters, but I ordered that plus the eyelet bushings, and it came out to $370 plus tax plus shipping, and I think the grand total was $502. That hurt my soul a lot, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I had to order, really. I mean, I got to order fuel tank straps, but the rest of it, I have to go get a roll of line or something from O'Reilly or whatever, but that I'll worry about when I get to it, once I figure out what I actually want to do. But I was looking up at patch panels. So the only panel they really have is the door skins, which I don't really need. And then this panel right here they have. They don't have this panel. They don't have the wheel arches. Don't have the right dog leg. Don't have rockers or anything. So luckily this is all square. So we can really make a lot of that from scratch. What we do have going for us here is the rear wheel arch, and the front arch is the same, which is very helpful. So we're gonna have to get a driver fender, and we will use that to make a driver wheel arch. And then so we'll have this panel, the patch panel, probably to about here or so. I think I'd have to go look and see how far the panel goes, and then you would mold that to a driver fender to get your full arch, and that way you have a crisp body line still. Well, I just went out to Home Depot and came back with this new Ryobi death wheel, angle grinder, whatever you want to call it. Bought some new discs and everything. These are Diablo discs. This was $109. Their inventory was wrong, and they literally had 0 in stock. And the guy asked if I wanted to buy the display unit, and I'm like, if it works, I don't care. Anyway, here I am with the display unit and a $20 discount. This thing's pretty cool. This is the brushless one, and obviously it works with all my other Ryobi batteries, 18 volt. This guy has got 3 different positions, so you can, do all kinds of magic. And these death wheels fit perfect. But I did a little test hit, and that cleaned up real nice. Look at that. You see, we get all that scaly crap off, and see this little bit that's left. You know, you get what you can, right? But this is what your rust converter is supposed to fix, is little stuff like that. But if the rest of the frame rail, quote unquote, unibody rail, cleans up like that, we're gonna be in decent shape. At least that's a surface I can weld to. Here's their old primer and stuff too. But I got a bunch of goodies here. I will show you when we get to it. But I just wanted to test that real quick. I want to make sure this thing works, and it works. So we are good. Yeah, hopefully most of it cleans up like that. It's pitted as heck. Don't get me wrong, but there's some structure there. Something to weld to anyway. Apparently I can measure somewhat decently here.